Hello everyone and welcome to this video of our Python tutorial series. In this video we will be covering a whole new data type. The name of that data type is dictionary. Now first of all, the instance we hear the word dictionary, one thing come to our mind, which is something we use to find the meaning of a particular word. That's what dictionary is. So if we look at the dictionary in real life, what does dictionaries contain? We have a word and we have a particular definition or usage and pronunciation of that word. So we can reduce the relation of the word and its meaning into key value pair, where key is the element for which we want to find the value for, and the value mapped to it is the meaning. Now, how does dictionaries work? Whenever we try to find the meaning of any particular word in dictionary, we always use a key value pair, where key is the word of which we want to learn the meaning, and the value is the meaning of that word, the pronunciation of that word, the definition of that word. So each of these key value pairs are already mapped. You know that a particular word will have a particular meaning. Similarly, a particular key will have a particular value. Keeping that in mind, Python dictionaries work in a quite similar way. We have a key and we have a value. We form a key value pair, and whenever we want to access the value, we use the key. Let's start by declaring a dictionary. Let's say my variable a is storing a dictionary. Now to declare a dictionary, we use curly brackets and we enclose a key value pair as a single element in our dictionary. Now let's say I want to use apple red, banana yellow. Now what have we done here? We have created a dictionary with two key value pair. The whole element here, apple colon red, is a single element in our dictionary, and banana colon yellow is a single another element in our dictionary. They are a single entity here. You cannot separate banana and yellow, you cannot separate apple and red. Only apple red and banana yellow are different. You cannot separate them again. In our real life dictionaries, we use the key, that is the word we want to find the meaning for, to access our values, that is the meaning of that particular word. In Python dictionaries, we do the same. We use the keys to access the values. Now let's move to the process to use the keys to access the values in Python. So if you have experimented with the topics of our previous videos in this series, you might have encountered a particular type of error in Python, that is key error. Key error occurs whenever we want to access a particular element, but that particular index is already null. There is no element present at that index. So Python returns us key error that at this index we do not have anything. So if you can relate to our previous tutorials, you might see that we use indexes as the key to access the values. Even unconsciously we were using keys to access the value. We were using key value pairs in our data types, whether it's string, whether it's tuple, whether it's list. Whenever we were using our indexes, we were always using key value pairs, where the indexes were the key and the elements stored at that particular index are the value. Similarly, we will be using keys here to access our values, but those keys will not be the indexes. Those keys will be the key that we specified here in our key value pair. So, how does key value pair is declared in this? It is key colon value. So whatever is before that colon, it's the key, and whatever is ahead of that colon, it's the value of that key. Let's try to use the key apple and get the value mapped to it, which is red. A. Now I know that I have to use my self-defined key instead of index, and my key is a string, and I got the value assigned to that particular key. Why are dictionaries useful? In many cases, we might have to store the values in a collection, that is list or tuple, but there are chances that we have to use them again and again, but we cannot recall at which index is a particular value stored. Let's take an example. Let's create another variable b which will be storing a list. Now this list will store details of a single student which contains the student's name, let's say Jack here, the subject of that student, let's say physics, and the marks of that student, let's say 85. And now I have written multiple lines of code and I can't find, and my this list declaration, this assignment is not visible to me and I can't recall at which index number I mentioned the marks of that particular student. So there are two ways. Either I will have to find this line of code where I have declared this list, and then I will have to find the index of that number or that value which I want to access, which in this case here is the marks. So I can access it by using B2, by going up again in my code and finding this line and then using this index. Or what I can do is create a dictionary the very first time. Let's say name Jack, subject physics, and marks 85. Now what I have to do is just use marks. I don't have to calculate the index. So this is how dictionaries come in help. We use dictionary whenever we want to create a user defined index. So instead of just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we can give any index which we want. Now before moving further, let's check the class of our dictionary data type. It's dict. Now let's perform a dictionary updation. Let's say I got an increment of 5 marks in my marks of physics. So what I can do is marks equals to, instead of 85, I can do 90. And if I check my C dictionary here, I got marks updated as 90. So it's pretty simple. Now there are dictionary functions too. Let's use the first function, key. We have discussed what are keys. The custom indexes that we have assigned to a particular values are the key. So if I use c.keys, I got all the keys which are present in my dictionary C. Name, sub, marks. Name, sub, and marks. Similarly, if I want to check all the values present in my dictionary, I can directly use c.values and I will get all the values. Now see that keys and values appear in the same sequence. Name will always be mapped to Jack, subject will always be mapped to physics, and marks will always be mapped to 90. This order cannot be shuffled. They will always be mapped. They will always be at the same indexes. Now let's perform item deletion in dictionary. There is a function called as pop which deletes the key value pair of which the key is passed in it as parameter. Let's perform a pop operation. Let's say c.pop and I want to pop marks. And if I check my C, marks is gone. Similarly, I could have used del keyword here. Del C marks. And if I check my C again, it's deleted. Now let's perform an operation. Let's say I am storing the contents of C in my variable D, and if I update the name of D as, let's say, Joseph, I got D as name Joseph and subject physics. If I check C, I got name as Joseph and subject as physics. I have only changed D here. I have not changed C, but the content of C also reflects the changes made in D. So if you have watched my previous tutorial, you definitely know how to deal with this issue. We deal with this issue by using a function called as copy. I got C as name Joseph and subject physics, and if I use D as C.copy, and if I change the name of D here, let's say change it by Jack, my D is updated as name Jack and my C is still the name Joseph. So whenever we have to update a particular value which we have derived from another variable, we always have to use the function copy. Otherwise, the changes will also be reflected in the other variable. So to avoid that, we use copy. I have discussed this issue why it happens in my previous tutorial. So if you want a detailed explanation of this, please refer to that tutorial. Now I believe that I have given you a basic gist of what dictionaries are and how they are used in Python. So I ask you to experiment with them as much as you can. Explore the new dictionary functions. Just Google it, dictionary functions in Python. You will get the list of functions which are supported by dictionaries. Try creating a nested dictionary. If you try it by yourself, this will help you a lot. You will learn a lot of things while creating a nested dictionary. I suggest that you do it by yourself if you are stuck somewhere while creating this nested dictionary or exploring any other dictionary functions. Just leave the query in the comment. I will respond to you as soon as I can. So that will be all for this video. If you learned something new from this video, give this video a like, share it with your fellow learners, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you. Until next time.